You are listening to the Intuitive Healing Connection, where intuitive healing connects with everyday living. Hi, my name is Gina Stroll, and I am your host. I am best known as the down-to-earth energy healer that doesn't sugarcoat the truth. I walk my clients through the healing process so they can find freedom from their emotional pain, heal from their past, and find peace and joy again. If you are interested in healing your emotional past, tapping into your spiritual side to receive your own answers, finding your own clarity, and discovering your own spiritual truths, then you are in the right place. I am here to lead the way and to help you discover your own intuitive healing connection.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this mediumship series where we're talking all about readings, when to know when to get a reading. Today, we're going to talk about what to expect during a reading and what should kind of go down in a reading. So I'm excited to share all this information with you, to educate you, to help you, because I know in my experience, this isn't something you're going to go find on Google. This information has come from my own experience doing mediumship readings, doing my development process, and really honing in on my understanding of how all of this works. So let's get right down to it today. Let's go deep. I want to talk about how or what to expect when you go for a reading. So usually you would schedule with the medium, whoever that is. They're going to set up a date and time. The question that I get asked the most is, do we have to be in person? No. No. Spirit is universal. Spirit is everywhere. You do not have to be in person. You do not have to go see a medium in person in order to have a great reading. That just simply isn't true. I like to think about spirit energy like electricity. Do you have to be sitting at the plant where the electricity is made in order to get electricity? No. It travels through all the cords, all the places, all the things. Spirit energy is the same way. So you do not have to be in person to receive a reading. You can do it over Zoom. All of my readings now, all of my healings, everything that I do is over Zoom. I don't see people in person anymore. I did for a long time. My circumstances and situations have changed, and I just decided, you know what? There is no reason that we have to be sitting in person in order to get the information that we need. So you can see anybody anywhere over a Zoom call for healing work, for spirit readings, for all the things. You can see them everywhere. So what to expect. So you'll make that appointment. They should not ask you any questions. Sometimes they will ask if you have had a loved one pass within a shorter period of time. That is a question that they probably will ask you. They shouldn't ask you anything about who you want to connect with, any of that. None of that should happen. A true medium will not ask you any of those questions, but they will ask you if it's been long enough, mostly because of the reasons that we have talked about. And if you're ready, if you caught my last podcast, when to know when you're ready. They want you to be ready to hear the message that Spirit is going to deliver for you. It is a waste of their time and your time if you're not, and you don't want to do that. You'll just come away frustrated. They'll be frustrated. They may not be frustrated. A good medium wouldn't be frustrated. They just understand, but they know that if they would have asked this question before, we could have avoided a lot of that frustration. So you need to be in a space that you are ready to hear the message. So they may ask you that, but they should not ask you any other questions. At the time of the reading, you'll show up on the Zoom call or in person, however they choose to do it. At that point, your job is to say yes, no, and I don't know. Those are your responses. So if you're sitting here in this reading and what an evidential medium would say is, you know what, and I'm just going to make up something here. Okay. So I have a gentleman here. He would have passed. He would have been older in years. He's showing me his age to be, 85. He had thinning hair, showing me kind of a bald head on top. He would have had a bigger belly. He's pointing to his heart, which I would have assumed would have been heart issues that he passed away from. My heart hurts. I have some pain in my chest. I'm feeling that from him. He would have also left behind a wife, blah, 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 whatever. So your job in that information, sometimes they give it to you that fast. Sometimes, you just say, yes, I understand that information, or no, I do not. Sometimes it's a maybe, because sometimes we might get information and we are thinking of maybe 2 or 3 people, and we need to kind of narrow it down. Maybe it would, maybe it would be for a couple people that that could take all of that information. You can just say maybe at that point and allow them to continue. You don't need to explain. In fact, you don't want to explain, because they have connected to spirit. They are in this altered state. You need to let them stay there. If you want to have a conversation after the reading and let them know, that is perfectly fine. I work with a lot of students, and this is what we do is, in order to be, if you want to help your medium out, you need to stick with the yes, no, and I don't know. Most mediums will tell you this when we start. You know what? I'm here to deliver the information to you. I want to give you the best reading possible. So while we're doing this, if you could just say yes, no, and I don't know. Sometimes it can be a maybe, but usually an I don't know, you can interchange those words if you need to, but do not elaborate on the information that you're receiving. So just allow them to give you that information, to bring it forward. You should get to the point where you know who you're connecting with. There should be this point where you're like, yep, there's no doubt and when I was doing this professionally all the time, I would ask spirit to give me the smoking gun, so to speak. The one thing that would let them know exactly who they were connecting with. Sometimes that can be a name. Sometimes that, can be, only something that person would have done. Maybe they liked, I'm seeing the hard candies, the old hard candies, like the swirly ones, the taffy looking things that were super hard in my head. He had these on the counter all the time. Sometimes it can be things like that, or, there was a ring in the family, or there was a gemstone, or there was, something that is the smoking gun that you would absolutely just know that was your Uncle Greg, whoever it is that you're connecting with, right? So, and at that point, once you've established who you're with, this is when the healing message comes in. So this is when you can just start. They allow spirit to just say, what is the message? What is it that you need them to hear? This is where that support comes in. This is where that love. But absolutely, we need to establish who we're connecting with in the beginning. So that should be the beginning part of that. Usually during a reading, you'll go through 2 or 3, maybe, depending on how long the reading lasts, souls on the other side in a private reading. And, you'll again do that connection part, that evidence part, and then they'll give you that healing message. And that's kind of how it should, for most people, I would think that's how I have done it. That's how I was taught to do it. For a lot of people, that's how it should happen. Here again, if you're connecting with just a medium, not a psychic, these are not psychic readings. This is really true evidential mediumship of just connecting with spirit and allowing you to know that your loved ones are there with you. That is the purpose of this reading. You should feel uplifted after a very, very kick-ass good reading. You should walk away feeling, I call it kind of the emotional high. There should not be confusion. There should not be this sense of uneasiness, or, you should walk out of there being very grateful for the information that you just received, being very grateful to the souls who connected with you, knowing that they're with you and feeling very supported and loved. That should be the goal at the end of the reading. Now, not every reading is perfect. Not every medium can connect with your loved ones. This is the other thing is, I had readings where I had this one lady come and see me, and she had been to several different mediums. I couldn't connect with her husband. Why? I don't know. Was it the day? Was it I don't know. It's like that connection just wasn't there. I connected with other people, but not with her husband, that's who she kind of wanted to connect with, on the other side. Not every medium is your soul's medium. I believe that our souls on the other side start kind of lining this up. And it's interesting because I have had friends who have lost their husbands, and for those who want to connect with their wives, it's really interesting because they will come to me and they will say, because they know I know a lot of mediums and they know I won't do their reading because I know them. And they'll say, you know what, can you set it up with this person so that I can connect with my wife? They already have, they've kind of been out there feeling out my feelers, seeing who I know, what I know, and who would be able to connect best with them to give the best reading for them. Because as mediums, we have to have we call it a library. They use our memories, they use our thought processes, they use our things that we understand in order to convey the message for us. So, if he was a big football fan, I wouldn't be able to do any of that because I could care less about football. In fact, I really kind of despise football. And so, somebody who's into that and that was their life, they probably would not come and connect with me because I'm not on their same wave level. And so spirit really starts seeking out the person who can deliver their message the best. And so it's really kind of an interesting process. I believe spirit brings us together. They are kind of the connector all on the other side, choosing you as their medium, choosing me as their medium, or whoever it is that can deliver their message the best. And I just think that is super cool. I love that. And I love how they can see that and they know. So, that energetic lineup is really important too, with who will deliver our message the best or deliver their message the best for them, because we have to have that library or that bank of information in the background in order for us to be able to give the information the best that we know how. So not every medium is your medium. Not every medium, maybe they're not going to be able to connect with your particular loved one. And we just have to be open to all of that and trust it. Just if you have had a bad reading, for those of you out there, if you've had a bad reading, don't write it off completely. It's like, there are many, many, many brilliant mediums out there. Many, many really good people out there who deliver amazing freaking messages. And it's really cool what the information that they can come up with. One of my favorite things to do is sit and watch mediums work. Now, because I understand how it works, I just sat there and I'm just like, so freaking cool. I understand the fundamentals behind the connection and how all those connections work, but it is really fabulous. If you want to Google, there's some really old mediums that are on YouTube. Actually, there's Edgar Casey. Mavis Patilla is one of my favorite mediums. I have sat through many of her classes. I freaking loved her. She passed away this last year. She was a marvelous medium. And she would have conversations with spirit, just like, in fact, she would get mad at us mediums because she said, quit being the secretary and delivering a written down message. She's like, you can just start having conversations with spirit and connecting that information with our loved ones like a flawless conversation. There's some beautiful mediums out there. It's amazing to watch them work and watch them connect with the spirit world and the spirit realm, and the information that they receive is fabulous. So really, this is an intriguing process to me. I consider it very much an intriguing process, and seeing how other people get their information and the information that they get versus what I get. I always, a lot of people struggle with names. Sometimes they just drop in and it's good. But if you don't have that name bank in your brain, it's going to be pretty hard to deliver some of the names. Some mediums are afraid to throw those names out there because, you can have names drop into your head and maybe it's not right. That's where that development process all comes in. But anyway, there's a lot of different ways that spirit can connect with the medium. And so, if you have had a bad reading, if it didn't work out real well, get a new medium, seek someone else out, really, because this really can be a fabulous process. The other thing that I want to throw out here that I've had happen to me, I've actually had people who have reached out to me and they want to do a monthly reading with spirit. Okay, I call bunk on this, because it is not spirit's job to come connect with the spirit. You're putting a responsibility on them that is not theirs. I don't see the purpose of this. I don't see the purpose of having that connection with them monthly, because for one thing, it's your job to learn to connect with your loved one in a different way. I believe that wholeheartedly. I believe that's part of our healing. That's part of us taking responsibility for their passing and our healing and our growth, and really not relying on someone else to make that connection for us. It's not that we can't seek out mediumship readings. I love having them. I think they're fun to do. I'm not seeking it out though as a healing purpose. I'm seeking it out as, just a way of, I can't wait to see what information comes through today, because it's really kind of interesting to me. But I don't believe in putting that responsibility on spirit to connect with you once a month, to give you that reassurance every month. I just don't see it. I see these kind of as maybe a periodic thing, or even maybe a once in a lifetime thing. I don't want to go quite that far, but I don't see this as something that is needing to happen all the time. We really have got to do our own healing work, get to a place where we're at acceptance of where we're at and what's going on, and knowing that our loved one is there with us all the time, trusting the spirit, trusting the universe, trusting our existence to know that we are supported and we are loved. It's not that it's bad to go do that. I just don't see the healing purposes in all of that. I see that as a lot of ways of, mediums keeping people coming back. and I just don't see the healing purpose in it. And so, think about that as you're doing that too. The whole point of this is for a healing message, for you to feel supported and loved. And it could be a way, if you're at this acceptance point, in your stages of grief, it could be a way for you to finally let go of that last little bit of, whatever's going on. Sometimes spirit can bring forth one of the most beautiful healing messages. It's not that it is not their job to heal us. It's just that is not the sole purpose of that. We need to take responsibility for ourselves. And mediumship readings can be very, very healing if they're done in the right time and done in the right way. And the information is brought forth that we need to hear. Sometimes we just need that little bit of them telling us that it's okay, that the decisions that we made at the end of their life were fine, and that they're okay with all of their decisions. Now, they were always okay with it, but we need to hear that sometimes. We need that. And that little bit of just that information can release so much inside of us, and we can maybe finally kind of let go. So there is that part of it. And to me, this is why it's not needed to do it all the time. Maybe you just need that last little bit of letting go, letting them know that they are okay. Sometimes we need that reassurance that they're okay. Maybe if they were in a lot of pain when they passed away, we're worried about them. We're wondering how they're doing. How are they? Now, I know that they're okay because they let that physical body go. But if you need that for that reassurance, this is perfect time to go and get that information. Spirit knows what you need. Trust in the information that you get in a reading. Trust and know that you don't need to micromanage them and tell them what to bring forward. They know what you need. And if you trust in that, you're at this acceptance point and you just trust in the reading, that is when you're going to get the best reading. If you go into it with if they don't say this one thing, I'm going to know this is all bullshit. How many times we want to test the medium, we want to test spirit, we want to, we need to go into it with an open mind, knowing that we will get the information that we need. We will get the very best reading that we need. And if you will open up to that kind of energy, you will get exactly what you need. It may not be what you wanted, but you will get exactly what you need so that you can move forward after your loss. So that is my message for you today. It's going to be okay. Everything is okay. This is all a process. This all takes time. We don't just magically get over it. We need to do our healing work. We need to do the very best that we can do. We need to be open to feel our feelings, open to know when you're ready, and be open to hear the message that is coming your way. So that is my message for you today. I hope you've enjoyed this. I will see you again on the next podcast. Thanks for being here. Have a marvelous day.
Thank you so much for tuning in and listening today. I sincerely hope that you enjoyed this podcast. I would love to hear from you. You can reach out to me by email at ginastroll@ginastroll.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as Gina Stroll Intuitive Healing. You can also find the full podcast videos on my YouTube channel as Gina Stroll Intuitive Healing. If you are interested in working with me or you would like more information about any of the healing programs that I offer, you can find that information on my website at ginastroll.com. And of course, don't forget that sharing is caring. Share this podcast with a friend and help spread the healing energy around the world. Thank you for listening and joining me today, and I can't wait to connect up with you again.